No matter how good the products are, if you're not holistically looking at gut health, your stress levels, hormones, like the beauty industry or specifically skin, it's finally taking on that there's so much more that needs to be researched and understood to get results.
Yeah.
And there's no one quick fix, perfect silver bullet out there. Hello and welcome back to another episode on the Beauty Industry Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Kennedy. Today's episode is a very special one because today marks the very first podcast ever recorded in the Beauty Industry Leaders podcast studio. For 5 months, we've been working hard, dealt with so many delays, and invested over $20,000 to get here. But I am so excited because I'm not doing this alone. Sitting across from me in the studio are the founders of Australia's most respected microbiome-friendly skincare brand that has been featured in Cosmopolitan, Elle, Body and Soul, Women's Day, and Style Icons, just to name a few, building cult-level loyalty across Australia, the US, and beyond. I'm joined by the husband and wife duo behind AMPERNA, a purpose-led topical postbiotic brand created for sensitive, reactive, and compromised skin. This isn't a trend-chasing skincare company. This brand was born from severe pustular acne, adrenal fatigue, topical steroid withdrawal, rosacea, years of research, years of testing, years of getting it wrong before getting it right. Kiri is the creative strategist turned skincare pioneer who transformed her own painful skin journey into a brand that genuinely understands what reactive skin needs, both emotionally and physically. Wesley is the operational and technical backbone with 20 years in IT, a systems thinker, automation specialist, and the structure behind the scale. Today, they've grown AMPERNA into a multi-million-dollar brand that's making a global impact in both D2C and B2B. Today, we're talking about turning adversity into innovation, bootstrapping a product brand from zero, the reality of cash flow pressures and imperfect launches, staying in integrity in a trend-obsessed industry, scaling overseas while protecting brand trust, and what's next for AMPERNA. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you feeling being in Perth?
Oh, well, we expected it to be really hot because the last time we were here, it was really hot, right?
It was so hot. It was almost 40, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you walked outside, it was like... And then this morning I walked out, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be hot. And then it's like really, really windy and cold.
Yeah, it was freezing.
Yesterday it was hot. It was like 38 degrees maybe 2 days ago, super humid. I just got back from Vietnam, which Vietnam is usually humid and sticky, but it's their good time of year to go. And I came back here and I was like, oh, I have no aircon in my apartment. I can't do this. Have you guys been to Perth much?
No, well, I haven't.
No, this is our second time, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're like international travel buffs. We love Japan. So we've been there 11 times. So I'm sorry, Perth.
Perth kind of gets overlooked a lot of the time. Like even talking to people over East, they kind of act like Perth is its own country. It's too far to fly there. Why would I go to Perth when I could go to Bali or Thailand or Vietnam? After traveling all that way, you may as well go somewhere international. Plus, it's more expensive to travel within Australia.
It is.
So,
yeah. But you do have great street art and like installation pieces around where we were.
Oh, yeah, we saw this big blue astronaut thing this morning.
Graffiti.
It was really cool.
It's like lovely.
Yeah. I don't know what it was for, but it looked awesome.
Yeah.
Perth is known for this random green cactus in the city. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't seen that. I've got to go searching for that.
There's memes about it. It's like, what do we have in Perth? The green cactus. Anyways, the way I like to introduce my guests is to do a rapid fire round of questions.
Oh, okay.
So instead of sitting here and like, what's your favorite color and how long have you been in business? Let's just get straight into it.
Okay, right.
Kiri, if your 29-year-old self, deep in pustular acne and steroid withdrawal, could see AMPERNA today, what would she say?
She'd probably say, no, really? As if, probably. And you never have time to celebrate your wins. So that's something that I need to do in 2026, 2027. Yeah.
Never have time or never make time?
Never make time. Yeah, it is my own fault. So thanks for putting me in it just then.
I love it. Wesley, what has been the most impactful system or automation that you've brought into the business?
Oh, that's a very good question. I would say probably when we first started, when I connected up the accounting system with Shopify, when I could have paid for an app to do it, but we were bootstrapping, we didn't have a lot of money, and that would basically just connected everything. I could click a button and it did it all for me, and I just coded it for free. So I'd say that. Yeah.
But how long did that take you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so that was before AI, so it took me longer because I had to Google how to do everything, and now you're just like, write me a program that does this. But yeah, I probably got it done within a couple of days, so not too hard.
That's epic. Yeah. Kiri, what song comes to mind when you think about your journey in business?
Now, I'm really bad with song names. So what's the song?
Okay.
Yeah, see, we're going here because I do this all the time and he gets annoyed at me. So what's the song when I was sick and we were traveling back from your parents and it's like really tear-wrenching.
End credits by Chase and Status.
End credits by Chase and Status.
Oh.
Yeah. So
is it like drum and bass?
Yes, it's like very emotional, and then, it's talking about the end. So in the end, will you remember me? Have I had a good life? Blah, 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 blah. And then, yes, it does kick into drum and bass, but it's very emotional. And I remember listening to that on the way back from Wesley's parents' place, sick, wondering whether I'd get through Dad being ill. And, you cry every time. And I actually used it as a running track, like to really get myself fired up to actually finish running.
I think we all need those anthems in life, though. Yeah. I'm a drum and bass fiend. Like, I love drum and bass. So as soon as you said Chase and Status, I'm like, wait, what? You're cool.
I am a goth, but I am a goth at heart, and we do like metal, but yes, no, we like that. How did we find Chase and Status? Wasn't it?
From Misfits, I think. They had a song on that. Yeah.
The BBC.
Yeah.
Yeah, Misfits, yeah.
Very cool. Wesley, what's the most stressful production run you've ever survived?
Oh, you mean like production run for like the products that we're... Or
what else are you producing? Drugs or?
Maybe.
Whoa, okay.
What is the most stressful one?
Was it the body care because you had to source all the ingredients?
Yeah, I think so. Normally when we manufacture, we just go to our contract manufacturers and they do everything for us. They source all the raw ingredients, put it together, and, then we get the finished products.
Obviously, they've signed an NDA before we give over our IP.
But for the body products, when we launched them, it just didn't work out that way. So I had to go to all the different ingredient suppliers, work out, the MOQs that they would sell of all the raw ingredients, how much we needed for that particular batch size. And it was just fingers in all the pies, and it was very hard to manage. But we got there in the end and we launched it, probably a few months late. But
respect for our account manager at a manufacturer, because I can imagine how stressful it is when you've got us emailing going, where is it? And she's like, I haven't heard back from the ingredient supplier. So yes.
So tough as well, because when I think about e-commerce or brands that you have more product-based versus service, the launches and the drops, it's not like you've got one product in the works. You've got to have like, okay, this quarter or this month we're dropping this thing and the next thing. And you can't be the business owner that's either reactive or only surviving week to week. Having that foresight while you got the stress of that going on, like...
Yeah, that is actually almost every batch when it gets close to the date that it's supposed to be delivered and it's not, then that's the most stressful batch because, you need the products when you need the products.
The new stress like every single time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Joys. Kiri, what's one product you almost didn't launch, but now you're so glad that you did?
I've always been very particular about what products I want to launch, and because the testing takes so long. I wondered about the SOS spray because, again, we'll talk about this later, like problems with like products and scaling up products and batches, and, there's always a learning curve. Every single day you learn something new, but I'd say the SOS spray because we had some difficulties with the formula because it's not just water in a can like so many other things are. It's an active spray.
Has it got mint in it or something?
It's got a bit of an ingredient that's got derived from menthol. So it's not menthol. It's not like an alcohol menthol. It's from a plant-based ingredient. And so it does have that cooling because I have subtype 1 rosacea, so I have hot flushes. So, and yes, you could put it in the fridge to make it so cool. But when we had the first batch, we always have small batches and then we scale up because even though you've done the testing for however many years, and AMPERNA does more testing than we actually need to do in Australia because, you know, we want to release the best products and help as many people as we possibly can. And the formula wasn't quite right. People were having issues with it. The spray pump was clogging, and we took it upon ourselves to reformulate the whole thing and release it again. And yes, I wondered, but now everyone loves it. So
I just started using it, and I got some in my eye this morning. I was like, this is tingling, but it wasn't bad or anything. Yes. And I was like, I like that feeling. It's like when you have a mint and you just breathe in, it's like, it's fresh.
It's fresh.
It's funny because like Japanese eye drops will have like menthol in them. So yeah.
We had that when I was in Japan because I've got contact lenses and my eyes get so dry with all the aircon and things like that, or heaters because we went when it was snowing. And I remember putting one of them in my eyes and I was like, oh my gosh. And at first I didn't know if I liked it or not, but now I'm like, oh, I wish I bought more and put it back here.
So often mistakes turn out the best because you've refined it. So like, you know, a learning experience or a mistake is never a mistake, even though it is quite stressful at the time. But yeah, the SOS spray, I think. Yeah.
Amazing. I think I already know the answer to this question. Wesley, what's your favourite travel destination and why?
It's Perth.
Because there's so much street art.
That blue astronaut. It's Japan, obviously. But that being said, we have been there so often. We have, every time we go back now, we hire a car and we drive around, you know, places that tourists don't normally get to. So we have, I'm not going to say we've covered the whole country, but we've covered a huge part of Japan. And you know, it's great to go back and I still love it, and the food there's awesome and the people are awesome.
But we need to find somewhere new, probably.
We probably do need to find a new favourite destination.
But where was your favourite bit in Japan?
Ooh, I think, well, just because it's fresh in my mind because we were just there, but we were in, it's called the Chubu Prefecture, and like Niigata, Toyama, places on the west of Honshu, and there was just so much snow and it was just like amazing to be in there, and yeah, I loved it.
That's
beautiful.
Cool.
Onsen in the snow, if you haven't done it, it's just so worth
experience.
it. It's an experience. Yeah.
All I can say in Japanese is "Watashi wa samensa desu."
Oh, josu desu.
I learned a little bit when I was younger, and it's crazy because you're coming back and you're reading the characters and you're going, "Oh, I kind of remember that one, but I don't know what it means." And then, thanks to Google Translate, I'm all right. But I heard that you guys have been learning Japanese for the last 6 years. Are you very fluent in it now?
Well, we're not fluent, no. So we actually stopped learning about 6 years ago. We learnt for 5 years before that.
Okay,
but
my timelines are terrible. Sorry, Samantha. I led you up to
we stopped because of the business, because we just didn't have enough time to learn it anymore. Yep. And what that meant was when we stopped, we didn't continue to learn new words. So we kind of, you know, when we go over there, we can hold decent conversations.
Hello, toilet, food.
Otori wa doko desu ka? Yeah, I know that pretty easily.
A little bit better than that, but like, you know, I don't think...
Our vocab lets us down.
Yeah.
Because that, like, you know, you're like, you know how to put sentences together. You're good enough to hold a conversation, but then you're like, oh, what's a cucumber again? And it takes, like, you pause in and then you get embarrassed. But, you know, this time I normally rely a lot more on Wesley. This time I did hold conversations the whole time without him in Japanese. Yeah.
Good on you.
I was proud of myself. Yeah.
Yeah, Japanese, in my eyes, when I was learning it, was a lot easier than Mandarin because you don't have to deal with all the tone marks. As soon as you go Vietnam, Thailand, China, the tone marks, you could say one thing with the wrong tone, it means a completely different thing.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
Kiri, what's more important to you, growth or integrity?
That's a hard one because you want growth, because I want to take over the world one face at a time. That's my little saying. No, but integrity is very important. So when we did this, the strategy for the brand before, because you do a business plan, you do business strategy, brand strategy before you sort of brief a design agency to design the brand mark, and then obviously the way that the brand will look and feel, and then run on into packaging and other activations. The brand is me, and I am very black and white. Less so now, right? No?
A bit of blue. Splash of blue.
Black and white. No comment. All right. So I'm black and white. But yeah, no, integrity, being honest. Like, I would much rather have somebody happy than me than sell them like a lot of brands or cosmetic clinics seem to do. $1,500 in one sitting. I'd rather tell them what I really think and help them properly and sell less product, because that person, when you gain their trust, will come back. And that's the type of community I want to develop. Yeah.
I think that's really meaningful as well. There's a lot of brands out there that are chasing the latest hype or TikTok trend, or they're not built to last, and they're built off this, hey, I want to get quick attention, but is that sustainable?
Yeah.
Does that actually help your customer?
Yeah.
And how are you meant to keep up when you're just constantly having to come up with new trends and trends and trends? Trends, they just die after a while, and that's why they're trends. Wesley, what's one financial lesson you learned the hard way in the early days?
Well, it's something that I should have already known, but to read the fine print in contracts that you sign, basically. It was during COVID, and the government was handing out I don't know, whatever they were calling them, but like the loans to, keep businesses going. And a financial broker contacted us and sold us this loan and promised that, it was like, we just get the money. If you don't use it, then there's no interest charged, anything like that. Obviously, loans never work like that, but I took him for his word.
And didn't read the fine print.
After a few months of having the money, I didn't use it, and I went to hand it back to them, and they went, okay, and we'll have, 10% of that in interest. And I went, that wasn't what I was told. So I had to go to, is it AFCA, the financial regulator? And then they had to take them up. And then, it was a whole thing. I lost the interest in the end, so I had to pay it. But if I had have read all the fine print closely, it was like interest is payable, when the loan is paid back, basically. So.
And I read things as well as Wesley reads things, but he was handling this, but he is the contracts person now. Because
I've always prided myself on reading things carefully, so for some reason I took that guy for his word.
It was stressful during COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a small business shipping overseas, like, people were like emailing in caps because where is my parcel, and things were delayed. And so, if we're high stress, probably had too many things to do.
Yeah. It is hard when you're running a business, and we're all caught up in our own lives. Like, we're all self-centered at heart. Like, we've got things to do. We've got our own worries and stresses. And seeing how customers responded during that time of COVID, it was crazy. I remember I was working at Officeworks. I'd just moved up to Perth, and people started working from home because they couldn't go into the office.
Yeah.
They would buy like 5 to 10 monitors per person, 3 desks.
Wow.
And then we went out of stock, and the amount of abuse that you would cop saying, where's the monitors? And it's been 3 months, no stock, nothing was moving.
Yeah.
I don't think that's even the end of it, because now you've got to deal with the tariffs as well.
Which there was a ruling today that we woke up to. So
I was very surprised.
The Supreme Court just ruled them illegal.
Except he's decided that he's going to slap 10% on in another way.
Globally in a different way.
So we'll see.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, right.
Kiri, what's the hardest part about running your business now?
I would say the hardest part is separating, because I'm the face of the brand, not stopping when I go home, because I've always been a person that my mind is always going. Like, I'm a very creative person, and, even on the way over here in the cab, I'm like, Wesley, when this is finished, like, I'm already moving on to the next thing. I should be focusing on being present, and I am present now, but like not in the car preparing myself to be here, but already I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. And it's constant chatter. And I'm not very good with my own personal boundaries, I think.
Do you ever schedule much time out for self-care?
Yeah, no, early on I didn't, but there are blocks in my diary now. So 2 days a week I do Pilates in the morning. The staff know I will be in slightly later on those 2 days. And then we go to the gym 2 days in the week, and normally 2 days on the weekend. And yes, there is a time for emails. There's a time we all break for lunch. We have a very big lunchroom. So everyone knows at 12, everyone has lunch and we all come together and talk and take a break. But yeah, no, there's definitely time scheduled in our diaries. And that's one thing. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was sick, I was never unhealthy. I've run, I've done cross country, I've swum, I've been a swimmer, I've tennis. Wesley's not so athletic, but
just calling him out here.
I mean, you already put
way to make a man feel like a man.
Wesley's great at weightlifting. Yes,
he looks fit. Like, he doesn't look like he doesn't do
To be
anything.
fair, she's true. I can lift heavy things off the ground, lift them up, put them back down again, but I can't throw a ball to save my life. So.
The one thing I learnt, and he probably learned at the same time, is you've only got your health.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're very big on work-life balance for even our staff. We try to, I brought treats to the office. What day was it? Thursday? And we buy coffee for the staff. And yes, are you nearly finished? Are you going home soon? So, yeah, work-life balance and mental health and wellness and exercise, obviously, are very important.
Couldn't agree more. Wesley, last question. If I gave you $100,000 today, where would you invest it and why?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I would say I would put around 50% of it, so a pretty decent chunk, into online advertising. So we already do like a large amount, of advertising through Meta, a little bit through Google, but being direct to consumer, our customers come through the ads that they see. We do get word of mouth as well, obviously.
And retention.
Pumping more money into that. And then the other 50 grand I would be putting towards manufacturing. So building up the stock as well to support the extra growth you'll get from the advertising.
Smart. I like it. You've got something to bring in money and then you've got somewhere to invest it to bring in more money once again.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, very good. Very good. Very good. I like that. Yeah. But
where would you put the 100,000?
I'd go to Chanel. No.
I'd go to Japan. I'd go to an onsen in the snow.
Yeah, pretty much. No, actually, we need more staff. So I would consider investing some in more staff. And yes, we'd need more stock. So I'd probably do a three-way.
Not with your staff.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
No. Staff, advertising, but obviously advertising in the places that we want to grow. So UK, US and Japan, to prep for going B2B in those places. And yeah, manufacturing of products, because we've got our SPF 50 on the way that everyone's desperate for. And yes, I feel like that manufacturing is going to be quite expensive because it's TGA listed. So yeah.
I'm excited to dive a bit deeper into all of that. But first, before we get into the whole business side of things, you've spoken about losing your father.
Yeah.
And obviously grief does change you. Unless you don't have any emotions and you're just a psychopath and you just keep going through.
Yeah.
What did that season strip away from you and what did it also build in you?
Well, it built a bit more self-respect for myself, but still struggling with self-confidence. Like, as a founder, you do struggle with imposter syndrome. Like sometimes you're like, am I really qualified to do this? And you're like, yes, I am, because I've got I lived it. So of course, and I've done my training, but apparently it's a paradoxical thing. I was talking to my psychologist about it. The more you have skills to do something, the more you doubt yourself. And when you're in startup, you're like, yeah, I'm flying high. I know what I'm doing. What did it strip away? Don't really know. That's a really hard question. I've never thought about it. I'm still dealing with that trauma. I think the business was in some ways, yes, I wanted to do something because I wanted to help people not go through what I went through. But I think the business was kind of like another way to divert from the trauma that I'd been through. If you make yourself busy, you don't have to deal with trauma.
Yeah.
And so I know that's a problem. So is that stripping away? Maybe
it stripped back all the layers of your day-to-day life and realizing, okay, what do I actually value? What do I want to prioritize?
I knew I didn't want to work for somebody else. And while we were building the brand, we both had to work for someone else. But I knew I didn't want to do it because when I was looking after Dad, my background is FMCG, so fast-moving consumer goods, everything that you see in supermarkets and like hardware stores as well. I worked on paint and that sort of thing as well, building brands. But I knew that that industry was very, sorry, Wesley, male-centric, and it was long hours. And everyone wanted something for nothing. And so, you know, it was up to you when I was a junior to make it all happen as quickly as possible for the least amount of money. And I knew I wouldn't want to go back. So yes, I guess realizing what was important, my health, and doing what I wanted to do, not what I had to do to pay the rent, I think. Yeah.
It would have been a huge shift as well because you've gone from this security and stability of a corporate job. You're building a brand. You're dealing with grief. Wesley, I'm really curious. What did it look like behind the scenes being the support person for Kiri at the time?
Well, I mean, it wasn't easy. You know, it was Kiri's father, so obviously they're related. It's a different experience for her. But as somebody who also had to go there at the same time, like, you know, it was still directly impacting me. And then with Kiri ending up in hospital because of it, I was going home and, you know, drinking every day. Like I wasn't dealing with it properly. I was using alcohol to, you know, sort of.
Didn't you clean the house as well?
I cleaned the house probably before I got drunk, clean the house and then get drunk.
I came out of the hospital and the house was great. I'm like, can we continue to do this? Less drinking, more cleaning the house.
So yeah. And it was, I guess I was using work to take my mind off it too. So yeah, I would go to work during the day and then go visit Kiri afterwards in the hospital and then go home and drink and sort of repeat. But yeah, it was, not a super easy period of my life, I would say.
And at what stage did you pull yourself out of that? What had to happen or change to realize that couldn't keep existing long term to build the brand you have today?
Well, I think it was when Kiri came out of the hospital. You know, I had to be supporting her at home, and you've got to be sober to do that. It's like,
Jesus.
I'm making myself sound like an alcoholic. I wasn't an alcoholic, but I was using alcohol as a crutch, right? So, yeah. And then, you know, when the brand did finally get started, I guess you're just investing so much energy in it. There's not really much time to think about anything else. You know, you're just trying to work out how to get those sales and get the brand going.
Yeah, working full time. And then, well, what did we do? We packed orders in the morning, worked full time, came home, did the work, packed more orders, and then went to bed. Oh, yeah. But there was gym in there somewhere.
Yeah, sometimes you get the gym in. Yeah. Then rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
How long have you guys had this business for now?
So we launched in 2018, so we're 8 years old this year, and we were in research and development for 5 years before that. Admittedly, it could have happened faster if we didn't have to work full time to bring the money in to launch the brand. 3 years of that was like research and development and thinking about what I actually wanted, and the 2 years after we sort of talked to the financial advisor and used the house deposit that we had saved and a bit of my inheritance as well. 2 years was the formulation side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't rush that process.
No.
If you rush it and you launch something and then it's crap, everyone's going to lose trust. They're never going to give you a second chance. It's a lot of pressure.
And I knew our products shouldn't be carbon copies of something else. So you can actually release white label products, and a lot of products are either straight white label products, which means you can go to a manufacturer who has a line or a couple of lines of products and just put your label on it. Or, for instance, larger conglomerates sometimes get a base formula and make changes. Wesley and I said to Wesley, I think that they should be unique, and we developed them all from scratch with an R&D formulations team, and we have eyes on absolutely every single ingredient that goes in it, and we test way above what needs to be done because that's just what we do.
And made sure that we contractually owned the formulations once it was finalised with the chemist as well.
Yeah.
It's a huge process to go through all of that. Protect your IP, trademarks, patents, everything.
Yeah.
Part of me is thinking in the back of my mind, how much does it actually cost to, on average, trademark or patent one product?
So we don't patent products. I think you'll find generally in the cosmetics industry, people don't, because you can change just like one ingredient a little bit and then the patent doesn't hold anymore.
However, we have trademarked and we do have very unique ingredients that do have trademarks from their original ingredient suppliers and clinical trials done on all of the ingredients.
Well, we trademark in a bunch of different countries. So we do Australia, New Zealand, US, Canada, UK. I think we've just done the EU and China. It's a big one.
We need to do Japan next.
Yeah. But that's for the brand. So, and I think you're looking at around $2,000 per country. So what's that? 14 grand?
Yeah. Just to do one product and think about all the products you have.
Yeah.
So Kiri, with knowing all of this, if you hadn't experienced rosacea, perioral dermatitis and steroid withdrawal yourself, would you have had the same patience to formulate for sensitive skin in the way that you have?
I mean, if I hadn't gone through what I had gone through with, I knew I wanted to help people, and the reason that the brand exists was because I wanted to help people holistically, and I wanted to help people via holistic coaching, and I did a lot of training in order to do that. But I knew I had to have a product, physical product too, as well, so that there was money coming in while I developed the trust for people via holistic coaching. The reason I wanted to do that was because when I was sick, there was a lot of conflicting information. It's a problem in Western medicine that when you go to a GP, unless they're really analytical or they work in a holistic way, they will try and push medication on you again. And I'd already had that reaction from medication. And I guess it's down to the fact that there's not much time, there's a lot of people, but I learnt that helping yourself out of the problems that I had needed to be holistic. There was a hormonal aspect, there was a gut health aspect. I wasn't wanting to take medication, so I learnt a lot holistically, and I felt like there was not one place that you could go to really look at a problem objectively that someone had and say, now go and get hormonal testing, go and get allergy testing. You might have an allergy. You've got a gut health problem. You need to see a naturopath and a nutritionist, whatever services. No one was there saying, this is the recipe path to wellness. And so I wanted to do that. I still think I would have formulated products with care, but I don't think they would have been as good because honestly, I knew nothing about formulations. I hired specialists to help me. And if I wasn't the frustrated Nancy with skin problems, I knew what I wanted, but I could probably, from my analytical artwork and production experience in the design industry, have come up with great products. They just might not have solved the same problem. And I don't think they would have been as good, definitely, having skin concerns, because we're both in charge of R&D. We both bounce off one another because Wesley's very analytical. So he will think about whether, that ingredient can be changed with this ingredient based on the cost. Does the data suggest it will do the same thing? Do we really need that expensive ingredient? And often we do, but anyway. But yeah, I think that I am better at that because Wesley doesn't have as many skin concerns as I do. Yeah.
I guess that's the thing, right? If you've felt that pain and you've experienced it, you know ultimately exactly what you're looking for and what works versus what doesn't. If you don't really know the pain, you might go, oh, that's good, but you haven't had it as a dramatic change. Like Wesley, do you use many of the skincare products every day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which are your ones that you use?
So I use the cleanser and the body wash every day.
Yeah.
I try to use the Vita C, but I have a terrible memory and I keep forgetting to. But the Vita C is actually my favourite product. And the shampoo and conditioner, obviously, now that we've launched hair care as well.
And he's not very good with his sunscreen, everyone, but he is now wearing a hat.
I'm not good with sunscreen because I don't go in the sun. So
yeah, but you still need to wear it anyway. If you don't use the SPF 50 when it's finalised, I will be very upset.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
When you use your products, which are the ones that you're mainly using? Because you've got more skin concerns, you've got sensitive skin?
So I use all of them in different regimes, but I can't use as many actives all the time as other people would. Our actives are formulated for people with reactive skin. They have built-in biome supporting ingredients. So I use all of them, but I would have to say that it's the body care, the hair care, the soothing duo, the SOS spray, obviously our SPF 15, and I've got the SPF 50. I think it's in my bag as well. So yeah, I'm using all of them. And when I use actives, I'm using an active every second night, but it's very much dependent on the season as to how often I use one of those. So summer, I dial them back a bit, and winter, I can go harder with those because obviously the sun isn't as harsh, and always sun protection. So I wear a hat and everything. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like if you're listening to this right now and you're going, AMPERNA, whether you've used it or if you haven't heard of it before or you've seen it on my socials and you're curious, before I got Kiri and Wesley onto the podcast, I had actually been exposed to AMPERNA 2 years prior, and that was my own journey with perioral dermatitis. And to be honest with you, I used the products. They did get some of a result, but I knew deep down it was stress with running a business. We were building a bowling alley. We almost went bankrupt. You know, no matter how good the products are, if you're, like you were saying, not holistically looking at gut health, your stress levels, hormones, like, you know, iron, all these different things, I feel like the beauty industry, or specifically skin, it's finally taking on that there's so much more that needs to be researched and understood to get results.
Yeah.
And there's no one quick fix, perfect silver bullet out there.
If only I could, like, we're recording that. I was about to say record that and like just play it to every customer. You know, you've had the product for 2 days. It's not going to help you in 2 days. And have you thought about all these other things? So again, back to the point, I don't want to sell $1,500 worth of products. Firstly, I can't, because our products have been priced at a sustainable price point because we want to help as many people as we possibly can. Our product packaging is also very functional. It's not Instagram worthy. It's there to protect the ingredients, but also to make them more sustainably priced as well. The customer service team help people with the products, but then they give blog post examples, you know, your diet, your stress, like hormones, so that people can think about the problem holistically. Because yes, you can't eat hamburgers 5 days or 6, 7 days a week and expect your skin to be great. You need to
But
hydrate.
I do an ice bath and sauna, so that makes it better, right?
No, well, sauna, if you've got inflamed skin, maybe not such a great idea. So yes, we talk to people about all these things, and our blog is very educational, and I'm always on socials all the time talking about these things, like giving points and helping people.
But the thing is that there is a silver bullet, and it's actually why a lot of people come to us, and it's a steroid cream, because it's what doctors prescribe for, you know, any sort of dermatitis, eczema. And then people will use that for a while or a long time, and then they'll come off it and they'll get steroid withdrawal, or they'll have rebounds.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can create a lot more problems than they actually fix in the first place. So,
they are a synthetic hormone, which then does over time affect your hormones. And so that is your body, your system gets used to the suppression of the steroid and then freaks out when it doesn't have it.
When I was a teenager, I had this horrible dermatitis. It would all come around here and then it went up the side, and I think it's called Pomflix.
Yes.
And I really struggled with that. And what was the solution? Okay, put you on a steroid cream. It's not really working. We'll just put you on a stronger one. And by the time you're on the strongest one, you're like, where's left to go?
Yeah.
This is not a solution. I said, what if I don't want to take this all the time? And that's what I don't like. It's always, they're going to make more money off you treating the problem rather than looking at a preventative method.
And when it's your hands,
you're using them every day.
You use them every day. You touch like a million things. So often, you know, it's wear no jewelry, wear creams, think about what you're touching, you know, clean surfaces, think about other things that's affecting you as well. Like, are you washing your hair and your hair care is actually the problem? Or
my hair was like, it's because it's so long when I was washing it in the shower, and I found this out from one of my other podcast guests.
Yes.
She was like, you need to scrub your back after, because that shampoo and conditioner, it then sits there and that is what is causing this like huge acne breakouts. Like you would just never think those things as a customer who doesn't know any better. You know, you just kind of go, yeah, I'm using this. This is expensive. It must be good quality. But even with food at the supermarket, what a 5-star health rating looks like versus is this actually good for you? Is it nourishing? Is it healthy? Not always. There's a difference between building a brand and building something that feels like a responsibility. At what point did AMPERNA become bigger than you?
So that I think there was 2 points when it became bigger than me. So I'd always, you know, we launched and we were both working in the brand and Wesley was working full time and I was freelancing and I'd always paid myself a salary. I think the turning point was when we hit profit because we sunk so much money into the brand, the house deposit and our savings. How much do we sink into the business?
In the first year, it was about $180,000.
And then there was more, obviously, consecutive years because we always invest back into the business. So, yeah, I think one of the turning points was being able to pay myself more, but also hiring a staff member and then seeing the customer retention and the community start to build. That's when I felt, it's something that's working. And then another turning point was when we had a business mentor tell us during COVID that we wouldn't be getting, like we were getting more sales because of COVID because everyone was stressed and everyone had skin concerns. And, you know, Wesley was working in the business 3 days a week. He'd quit his 13-year IT role to do 3 days and work 2 days in a friend's business. And then the business mentor said, you're really not going to scale past this unless Wesley comes on full time because he is supporting you in the operations side. You can't do what he does. He has to come in full time. So that was, and that salary was scary because Wesley was an operations specialist and with a team of people. So I'm like quietly really scared. But yeah, and it sort of snowballed from there. Yeah. So what year was that?
2021, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, still some time after. Still some time.
I'm like to Nick, I was like, I can pay you in free flights and kisses at this stage. That's it.
Well, that's actually what was happening because Wesley was working for somebody else like for 3 years and you were doing it out of love. I was the one getting paid like $200 a pittance and freelancing. But yeah, I actually don't know when I stopped freelancing. Was it 2 years into it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was another turning point too when I could tell the people that I knew in the design industry that I was no longer open to freelance.
Yeah.
So somebody called me and they're like, Kiri, blah, 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 are you free? And I'm all, actually, I'm hiring an employee for my business. I don't think I need to be on your call sheet anymore.
Ooh. Bootstrapping sounds heroic until you're wiring money for a production run and praying that the sales are going to come in. What did cash flow anxiety look like behind the scenes in the early days?
Oh.
It's not just early days, it's still now as well. There's cash flow
Kiri
is
is wanting to
always...
do, so Kiri has big ideas that she always wants. That's the main gripe. Wesley, we don't have budget. Kiri, slow down. Right?
Yeah, well, yeah, look, I guess there's a lot of nights that I go to bed just constantly going through, you know, how am I going to solve this problem? And, you know, it takes me forever to get to sleep. But at the end of the day, every problem that you run into has a solution and cash flow is just another problem really. So there's always a way to fix it.
He's just very there's a different, I guess that's why we get along so well. You are more objective and I'm very emotional. So, you know, the pressure the main pressure that I feel all the time is how are we going to find money to do X and how do we actually keep our employees employed and they're paying for their rents, mortgages, children, food. It's actually a lot of responsibility. So that's A, managing people is difficult, B, having that responsibility. But again, small business is a huge part of the Australian economy. And, you know, I'm actually proud of us for employing so many people because we are contributing to the Australian economy and for the well-being of our employees.
100%. Especially if you're actually hiring within Australia and not outsourcing everywhere. Like, I'm not at a stage where I can hire someone in Australia because the wages are so high.
Yeah.
Within my business, would I love to? Yes. But at the same time, I'm kind of in that phase. But then when I look at Bowling Alley as a business, we've hired at least maybe 8 or 10 staff so far. And that pressure, we just had one of our main team members not be able to live in their living situation now. There's no rentals going. You can't buy a home. And it's like, what do you do in those situations? So we bought them a caravan and now they're living in that.
Oh,
but
wow.
it's just
That's
like,
amazing.
you just want to help people. But yeah, it is a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility and a lot of tax too. Essentially.
So much
So
tax.
let's not get into the tax. Apple pays less tax than us.
So Wesley, leaving that IT career, that's obviously a huge move. What was the internal conversation you had with yourself before you made that leap?
I mean, I wasn't thinking about it as leaving an IT career, I suppose, because I knew that I was still going to be doing IT stuff in the business. And it was a conversation that, like Kiri mentioned before, that we had with the business coach. And he said, if you don't move into the business full time, then you're not going to make this happen. So I guess I was, thinking to myself, well, this has to work and I've got to move into the business. And then I have all these skills that I already, have in my IT career and managing teams of people. And so I can transfer them all into the business and we will make this work. So, like Kiri said, it was scary because of the salary and knowing that we had to support that. But I think as far as, trying to convince myself, it wasn't that hard of a decision.
So did you replace your salary the same amount when you moved to AMPERNA?
Yeah, that was always the aim that we wanted to do.
Yeah, and then the other, there's always in a business you don't scale like that. There's like teething issues. So the teething issue of bringing him on and you coast for a while and then sales pick up, and then the next teething issue was we were running first the business from a tiny apartment, second when we moved during COVID because rents were okay, to a 4-level house. And 2 of those levels, as well as access for the products through the garage, and then 2 were living for us. You're in your home and you're like, oh, I'm awake. This is me, not him. I'm awake. I'll just go downstairs and start work early, and there's no separation. I just said to Wesley, we can't keep on going. Well, I can't keep on going like this. We need the business out of the house now. We need more packing staff. There's always a problem to solve, I think, and Wesley's better at dealing at the financial problems than I am.
I compartmentalize quite well. Like when I'm at my desk and it's work, I'm doing work, and when I'm at home, it's my home time now.
Whereas I'm not. He can just sit on the couch and play computer games or, work on the garden or work on the car or something. I don't know. But I can't. I'm folding clothes and I'm like, yep, what am I doing next?
Yeah, I have to put on a podcast on YouTube to fold the clothes. I can't just sit there and just fold the clothes. And Nick will be like, can you just not play that and do that and then come back? I'm like, that doesn't work for you. We had this, I don't know if you guys have the same thing being in a relationship, you're kind of polar opposites.
Yeah.
When I have the shopping come in, I'll go, all right, I'll start cooking. I'll grab out the ingredients I need, start making dinner, and then in the time it's cooking, then I'll put the rest away.
Right?
He pulls every single thing out, stacks it out, this OCD, nice little area, and then he starts putting everything away, and I'm not allowed to go into the kitchen until he's done it. And I'm just like, doing this podcast studio and really bringing him in behind the scenes has been a great test to see, what are your strengths? Where do you kind of fall a bit short and get frustrated with each other?
Yeah.
What's been one of the best things about working together?
Well,
That's terrible. That's not very... What do you love about Wesley?
Everything. Well, the fact that he puts up with me, that's firstly. No, I actually have to say that the best, we trust each other implicitly. So there have been business partners that I know in small businesses that it hasn't worked because they both haven't pulled their own weight, and that has frustrated one of the team, and those partnerships have dissolved. But since Wesley had to look after me when I was sick and saw some pretty horrific personal the personal side of me because I couldn't do anything myself. I guess you trust each other, like that we'll make the right call in the end.
Yeah, and I think also just like the extra sort of perks, you know, when you're traveling overseas for business, then you're traveling for work, but you're also traveling as husband and wife. So you get to, it's not just work, you also get to enjoy yourself, you know, together, like in a different country. So, yeah.
Yeah, but mainly it's work all the time because like this time when we went to Japan, there was no drama. It was more that there was just so much to do. So, yes, we were on holiday and I'm like, oh, I've got to answer emails and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. So, yeah. But, yes, it is good to travel together, I suppose. Yeah.
I suppose you're not really selling it to me here.
Like I said, come back to me when you've been married for 20 years.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
My mum and dad, they came to the Vietnam retreat that I just hosted.
Yes.
And I was like, when did you guys go on the last holiday? Because we never went on holidays growing up. We couldn't afford to. We were running businesses. We had so much debt.
Yeah.
Something like 20 years. That was their first international holiday, just them. They'd come. They were going off on adventures. And I think it is really important that when you are in business with your husband or wife that you don't make the business the only thing you guys have in common. And I can see that happen with my parents. So mum's a nurse. She never wants to give up nursing and she loves it. My dad, as he's grown up, he's kind of had a huge shift into westerns and cowboys and Wild West bowling, and we're running rodeos and music festivals. And mum and him had a lot in common, but then they kind of grew apart. They still love each other and they still, you know, have fun, but their only thing in common is having Mike and I as the kids and also running the business. And so for them to go on the holiday and spend that quality time together, not replying to emails, not having to follow up with things, I think it is really important for, you know, the spark to stay alive in your marriage. Otherwise, you just become roommates that run a business together.
Well, we've like my psychologist has given us like tasks for date things, right?
Yeah, or when we have date nights, we're not allowed to talk about work, and which is very hard to do.
I'm like, oh, blah, 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 and he's like, that's work.
Do you have a dog?
Wesley?
We have 2 cats and 2 snakes. Which is most people's reaction when they hear that.
Yeah, there's silence.
I knew you guys were goths, but I didn't know that much.
Well, Wesley had a spider when he was younger. When we first got together, its name was Kushlash, and it was a female.
Lived
and
for 10 years.
No, it lasted longer than that.
11 or 12, yeah, wow.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Coming into more your R&D, keeping that brand integrity, and also living in a world that's driven by trends. You've spent 4 years formulating this SPF that we've been talking about.
Yes.
Most brands would rush that because they need to get into the market. They're seeing all these other things coming up and they're like, oh, I want my brand to have, you know how there's the hype of the media when they're all talking about the bad sunscreens and you're like, yeah, this is the time to launch mine, or you're almost scared, I don't want to launch it because it's not a good time. How do you find you mentally sustain long development cycles when the market generally rewards speed?
Well, in my opinion, I don't think the market, I'm going to disagree with you, rewards speed. Yes, it rewards speed if it is a trend-based product and you got to get on a trend really quickly. So, for instance, we've been ahead of the trend with microbiome. I discovered my unique postbiotic ingredient 11 or 12 years ago, and I used it on myself. And there is still education needed to talk about our brand. Why is our brand so unique? I think it rewards from a sales perspective, but that's not sustainable, quick development. But products that are actually good, that have sustained growth, take a while to develop. And we've always tested to the end of degree, like we go above and beyond. We do dermatological testing, compatibility testing. We're even thinking of doing like microbiome testing, and our ingredients all have clinical trials. In terms of the sunscreen specifically you've asked about, I'm very particular. And I wanted, again, to solve a problem. And now our consumers are very particular. No one likes the sunscreen smell. Everyone wants an acne-safe product. No one wants to feel like they're wearing a sunscreen. They want to be able to use the sunscreen under makeup. There's a particular problem I'm solving. So we've developed this over a long time, and we actually put it on pause for to see how the sunscreen issue would play out.
Yeah.
And now we've picked it up again, knowing that the market is going to adjust. It's going to take TGA a while to bring out, but they're changing some rules for testing. But we've always complied with everything because we've gone above and beyond. The sunscreens in Australia that were a problem have come from one manufacturer. They all have the same OST-L number, which is actually not allowed. We've even handed the products to our customers to try because we know they're our best indication for performance. So, yeah, I don't know whether the market, but also the market rewards people that do take the time to formulate good products.
Yeah, and from a small business perspective, you don't want to rush something because if you get it wrong, then it's going to cost you like a lot of money as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we want to make sure we get it right.
Yeah,
basically.
but I mean, as a sunscreen, it's already costing 3 times as much as an other product. Like, okay, so we'll put you on the spot. How much do you think we've spent on formulating a sunscreen already?
I honestly have no idea.
But it'd be like 100.
You'd be getting up to 100 grand probably.
100 grand.
And there'll probably be another 100 that has to go into it. So, yeah.
So it's a lot.
And that's the other thing, like you guys may sit 2 to 4 years just to do the research, the trialing, the testing to launch that product. People don't know that necessarily as well. And so they see the hype and then the timing, like hair care. When I went to Beauty Expo last year, that's one of the main things that they're now pushing. Skin needling for the head, like it's the new hype. And now you see all these brands and I'm like, has everyone been doing the R&D for the last 2 to 4 years to time that it's all coming out now? Or are they starting to get a hint and go, oh my gosh, we need to launch this now so that we look like we're staying up to date?
There are trends and the trends come and go in fashion and colour. For fashion and colour trends, normally there's like people in Paris that sort of work on the trend for the year. But I mean, in terms of, I think it's another market to focus on for businesses developing products. For us, again, I'm not really focused on what I need to develop to match trends. I'm more focused on what do I need to solve and what products holes are there in my range and what do my customers want. And the hair care, the body care was always asked for, so we developed that because we help people with some pretty severe concerns that they don't want to use steroids for. And in terms of the hair care, I've always had problems with hair care because it flares my skin. Our customers are the same and they're like, are you doing hair care next? So the hair care was always in the works. We always have a product development timeline. Yes, it shifts because things go wrong, but the hair care took us 3-4 years to develop because, you know, like formulations, going through things, testing, dermatological testing, compatibility testing, handing it to people to try. We tried it. Then you manufacture it. The manufacturing took 6
months. I think it was a while.
Then you keep the product on the shelf for a while before you release it. Yep. So it does all take time, but I don't think consumers are aware of that. But also that's not discussed, and I think that needs to be discussed more. There's a reason why those sunscreens had an issue because that process wasn't followed.
Yeah. So many thoughts going through my head. I'm like, do I want to go down this rabbit hole? I'm like, no, stay on task, stay on task.
Yeah, stay on task.
In an industry driven by TikTok trends and overnight viral moments, have you ever felt the pressure to need to educate your audience and continue constantly busting all these myths from skinfluencers?
Yes, I do. That's the thing that drives me to create content on Instagram because how is the potato on your face going to solve your acne problem? No. Maybe like eating in a better way.
Yeah.
But the starch is not going to solve your acne.
What about beef tallow and all of those things?
And slugging and there's been so many crazy ones.
So beef tallow is pure fat. And it is comedogenic. And yes, it might soothe your barrier if you've got an irritation for a while, but there's no clinical evidence to suggest that you need to rub pure unadulterated fat on your face. So yes, education is a very big part of what we do.
With today's world of social media, there's obviously a huge race for attention. How do you actually build anticipation for your product launches so they drive sales?
That's a good question. So it's definitely all about dropping hints via socials, via EDM. For me, my personal account is intertwined with the AMPERNA account. I'm always on talking videos, stories, posting when I have R&D samples to test. Can you guess what this is? And it helps that we're formulating products for our customers and what they want to, so they kind of can guess what it is. So, for instance, we're releasing a new hair care product and a new body care product if all things go to plan this year. And obviously the format of the body product will be very similar to the packaging that we already have for our body products. So they can kind of guess, but they don't really know. So that anticipation is spread months ahead, or sometimes years, because sometimes, like the SPF, they've already helped us test things and they're desperate. In terms of converting sales, it's obviously having our AMPERNA advocates sort of test the products and have content ready to launch live when the product goes live on the website, but it's all about advertising as well. So often Wesley can talk to the advertising, have advertising campaigns. We partner with influencers to then do giveaways.
Do you actually see an ROI on that?
That depends.
Yes.
It really depends on who you're partnering with. And
Yes.
I mean, that sort of thing is always impossible to measure the ROI on.
Yeah.
You can give them a code so that, if the customers purchase with that code, you can know that they came from there, but then you also don't know because other people search for codes, and they will use that code that's been given to somebody and you can't actually track it. So we've, given some influencers a large stack of money and seen no sales. And then we've given others, smaller amounts and we've seen lots of sales. So
yeah. So normally it's down to your repeat customer, but also your advertising campaign and the way that you sell the product to solve a particular problem. Definitely.
Yes. I think personally, influencers have lost their potency.
Yeah.
They used to have this dream life and everyone would just follow and do whatever they said. But now they're like, it's not real. And UGC content has definitely taken off a lot more because it's the everyday person.
And CGC. Consumer generated content, so that we actually have an ambassador program, but we also we actually advertise for hair care ambassadors or body care ambassadors that we give product for 8 to 12 weeks, and then they create the content and, the changes that they saw, and they give us our honest opinion, and we ask for track photos and we top them up with product over that time as well.
And we have actually just signed up with a relatively new app called Brand Pay. If you know what they do, basically customers, they can tag us, on their stories, on their reels, whatever. And then we give them, X amount of dollars for that. And then they can come back and spend that in our store. But it's great because they're, showing that to their friends who would trust what they're posting more than, an influencer with 2 million followers sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's
100%.
definitely micro influencers, the people that have their friends watching their accounts. But I think that aligns with our values, very honest. We don't, I call it pray and spray like other viral brands. We don't give 50,000 products away. We're very targeted. We want to help people with their skin. And we want people to love the products, so that we always, when we're working with anyone, send product out. They have to like it. They have to want to use the products. Then we work with them long term.
And it makes so much sense because these people are buying your products to get a result long term. It's not a, hey, I use it one time or I only use one bottle. It's that ongoing journey. And coming from your consumers, the level of trust that if you're posting, especially I think those client journey ones where they're showing like week 1, week 2, week 3, and you can see the noticeable difference, not just one before and after, the way we're marketing our results. And I want to talk about this because I know there's a story about Emily that deeply moved your audience.
Yeah.
How do you balance generosity and business sustainability through real hardship?
It's always a play off. I'm, I think my heart is too big sometimes, and Wesley's like, no, this is not going to be good for us as well as them. So, definitely the reason you're doing it has to align, but we've always been a generous business. Mel, her daughter went through topical steroid withdrawal, and she is a sole parent, and she just didn't. It was an emotionally led story, and it touched my heart. And, for me, as business owners, we have a responsibility to employ our staff. We have a responsibility to the environment to do our best with sustainability. And I think I want to do more things like that, gift people that, are clearly struggling with a problem that I know I can solve. I just think it's even if I didn't get anything out of that, I just wanted to help them because I'd been there. You've got to, I guess, look at how much product you're gifting and try and be reasonable with that. Definitely. Yeah.
And just briefly, so the person listening on the other side of this understands the backstory.
Oh, yeah.
Can you please tell us that journey? Because it's really incredible to see how much you had helped that mum and her daughter.
Yeah. So she emailed customer service and she'd seen an ad to be an ambassador, but it wasn't the right ambassador program. And she wondered, she'd found my story and my Instagram, and she'd been following me for a while, and she wondered whether her daughter, who was 11, Emily, could have some product, and if she liked it, she would talk about her story. And we didn't know what that would look like because, of course, we signed a contract with them. We had to ensure that Emily, because she was a minor, was protected. There was all that involved. And she was very unhappy. She wouldn't go to school. She was trying to get out of school. She was spending too much time in bed. She wasn't herself. She loved, before she got sick, loved to do her nails, loved to try like makeup products, and she wasn't doing any of that, and she was just really uncomfortable. And seeing her journey, obviously we've tracked her journey and how she uses the hair care, body care and skincare and how we've helped her improve. And it was very much, she chose what she wanted to use after she'd patch test. We didn't recommend, we gifted the products, but we didn't force any regime on her. She used the products how she wanted to. And just seeing her become more confident was just so amazing. And, Mel's still on Mel, if you're listening, still on my stories and still on the AMPERNA stories and still emailing us and saying that, Wesley and Kiri in Japan, say hello to them. It's really great.
Yeah, and a few videos have come through from Emily, and a few tears have been shed in the office. So,
it's just so cute. 11-year-olds are so honest. Look at my baby hairs growing, she said, and it was just so gorgeous to watch. So, that's one of those times where you're like, oh, if only I could help more 11-year-olds.
Hey, well, the thing is, if more mums see that story of Emily, it's kind of like that ideal client situation. They're like, oh, this is what I've been struggling with my kid. There's actually a solution.
Yes.
So many people are unaware that there's even a solution out there and they've given up all hope. And that's why I love your approach, because it's not harsh. It's not intense. It's not going to create a detrimental effect where it might work for a bit and then it has the complete opposite effect like Western medicine and these topical steroids would. In terms of the way that you've done your marketing, I really love that you are pretty much at the center of where marketing is in 2026. You are a founder-led brand because back in the day, brands were hidden behind logos, behind curated social media graphics, and you show the raw, real behind the scenes. You show both the polished side, you show your consumers, your community, and you also show your own personal life. How do you actually make both of these work both individually and together in your marketing strategy?
There's a lot of talk, we plan ahead in advance. I think it works because I am so integral in all of it. And there was a question where, if we get investment, how does a founder-led brand go from there? And we haven't needed investment, so that hasn't been a problem. In terms of making it work, there's always a focus per month. And that focus, we have different pillars that we have to hit on our social media, but our customers, UGC, CGC, and influencers are all picked, and nothing's curated visually. We never retouch anything, but we do have set themes that we need to hit or products that need to be promoted based on sales targets, etc. So that's always planned, and we align our social media, our EDM strategy, and advertising. So all of those departments come together to do a yearly simple strategy, and then that's built upon every month. Yeah.
It's something that I did want to ask, because when I was looking at the AMPERNA website, it does look amazing. It's conversion rate optimized. It's easy to navigate. It's not overwhelming. And I've looked at a lot of websites. I don't have a background in web design, but I work closely with someone in my team who is in that whole field. And when she was doing my website, I was learning so much, and I can just appreciate a good website.
Yeah.
You guys have been featured in a lot of PR, and I love that. It comes up in the credibility banner, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who am I interviewing here?
There you go,
imposter
Wesley.
syndrome. You're like,
No, definitely. There's always imposter syndrome.
Has PR been critical to you guys getting to where you are today, or do you think it's a small piece? And have you done it all internally, or has it been one of those things that you've outsourced? Because I know both doing PR training, understanding how to actually pitch yourself versus inquiring for PR, it's so expensive. Some of these agencies, $5 to $10,000.
Let's take a moment. Your website is really great.
No, that's amazing to hear.
Take
Thank
a
you
moment.
very much.
And we do, our business mentor does help us with CRO.
Yeah. So we did go through and implement a lot of suggestions that he had. We have differing opinions on PR.
But first, give the timeline. So when we launched, and we still are well known for the credibility that was gained by EGPR, who Elise has now retired, she did us a solid by giving us a half month's rate because she loved my story and she could see the benefit of it, and they were really great to us, but we did give away a lot of product.
Which was hard when we, starting up the business, and we had a small amount of stock to give away, whatever.
We gave away a lot, but those relationships have lasted. So somebody that came from that PR relationship as an influencer, she was using our products and posted about our products in 2018, 2019. I met in person at our Galentine's Day event. They are still AMPERNA fans. So, yes, it was worthwhile that way.
Yeah. And PR is one of those things that it's also impossible to measure the ROI on. Like, you're just, sending the money to the PR agency every month and extra burst, whatever it's called, giving them extra money to send the products out. Disbursements, that's the word. Thank you. And you can't say, well, that particular sale came from that, right?
It's definitely a top of funnel thing.
But that being said, with different PR agencies that we have worked throughout the history of AMPERNA, there have been some that are a lot better than others, like, who we're working with at the moment. I don't know if we can name names, but Billy, good job.
Yeah. The relationships are always chosen because you feel good about them too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we always negotiate, if this is not working, we're going to get out of it. So never sign up to anything for 6 to 12 months. Definitely if you want our business, you're working for us, we need to see this relationship, whether it benefits us. So can we talk about 3 months?
Yeah, and I'm one of those people who, if I get a sales pitch and I can tell that it's, just a whole bunch of fluff and bullshit, then I just won't buy into it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times PR agencies are just fluff and bullshit.
We had a meeting with a well-known, and they were like, well, you need us. And I'm like, no, well, actually you need us for us to pay you. So I'm immediately not going to work with you because it just felt a bit icky. Whereas the meeting that we had with Billy, he's really great. He has some really great ideas. He just wants to help brands succeed, which is what we want. We want to work with people like that. And I guess he's a non-traditional PR agency in that he is very much all about ROI too, which sold the And plus he's another guy for Wesley, since Wesley's the only male in the office.
But I think working with smaller boutique sort of, agencies, also you tend to get a better result than, if you're just another number on the books of a large agency. Because if it's their business, they care about it, right? They're trying to do the best for you as well as for them because it reflects on them.
And PR has many faces. Do you want to focus on influencer gifting? Do you want to focus on small activations for your community, which is what we're doing at the moment, because obviously we have a community online and we want to take that community offline and show that we appreciate it. So that's what we're working on. But also, yes, we've got lots of PR because I am now friends with a lot of reporters. And so the industry in Australia is quite small. As I'm kind of like going to events, I have chats with, we do too. Michelle, Wesley and I talked as well. Michelle from Retail Beauty. They're just inspired and want to talk about the brand.
And I think half of it is also having a really good brand story that people can connect with. It's not coming in with like, hey, do you want to try my product? It's like getting to know that person. What is that common ground? Building the relationship that way.
And it's a bit, you have to be a bit creative too. Like, you're not selling AMPERNA, you're selling the husband-wife team that are scaling internationally without funding.
Yes.
So always look at from the reporter's perspective, what would they be interested in talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was quite interesting when I did my PR training. I spoke to one of the guys who he gets everything curated for Sunrise. And he said, no one cares about you being a beauty business coach. They care about the 23-year-old who had a uni degree cancelled and learned how to scale a business of $2.1 million.
Yeah.
It's just like when you start to realise there's actually a lot of art and power that comes into figuring out who you are and what your story is.
Yeah.
Because people connect with those stories. They want to buy from people like them or that have something inspiring. It's just, I think what you've done with AMPERNA is very intentional because you've got the brand story, you've got the community of all these people struggling with this same problem, realizing that they're not alone. It's no longer just a product. It's anything but the product. The product is just the bonus, which is really cool. I know at the moment you're moving from predominantly Australia sales to now stronger US presence, and you're also exploring 3PL in the US, UK and Japan. What's the biggest operational risk when you're expanding internationally?
The biggest one. I mean, there's just so many. How do you choose the biggest one?
The insurance perspective, we have insurance on insurance and insurance, and the 3PL insurance, we're going to need some of that.
Yeah, I would say probably regulatory compliance with the different countries. We've spoken to other brand owners who have shipped products. One sent them to the US and then they ended up having a couple of pallets, I think, impounded by the FDA because they didn't comply. And then I think they ended up just losing them. I don't think they even got them back, or even if they did, like it cost them thousands of dollars, right?
No one talks to anyone and their box wasn't signed on a form, and then, they're expensive mistakes, right?
So with us looking to 3PL in the US, I don't want to send over 5 pallets, whatever it is, 100 grams worth of stock, and then just have it held for 6 months because the government won't release it. So I think it's making sure you dot your I's and cross your T's before you actually send the products overseas.
And definitely having the right people working with you to do that.
Yes.
So, Wesley's got help for the US, but we've hired a non-shareholder UK director who's got experience scaling businesses into the UK, for example, to help us do that. So, it's definitely having a good team behind you.
What are your thoughts on people that go onto Shark Tank and then they get investment and they think they're getting the deal of a life, but they're selling out equity and then they're getting told, we'll help you expand into America or the UK. Do you know people who have gone through that process, or do you have thoughts about what it looks like going through that versus doing it all on your own?
You do know people, don't you?
I do know people. Yeah. We won't mention any names. I want to hold on to my independence, or our independence. And I could have gone on Shark Tank, but, brands that are they really learning how to do it themselves? And, for me, giving away 25% of a business that's not even scaled yet, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons because, well, one, yeah, you are getting the money to help you scale your business.
And some of them are very successful.
Yeah.
Like I think there was no, actually she didn't go on Shark Tank. There's I cannot for the life of me remember. It was a sparkling kombucha brand or something that had really hip packaging and she sold for $1 billion or whatever. But yeah, pros and cons.
The other large piece of investors is getting the expertise and the connections and knowledge that they have as well.
However, so far we have not gotten an investor. It's kind of like another marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Right? An investor that's the right fit.
Yeah. And so that's a big con for us. It's a reason why we've never had investment, or one of the reasons, because we don't want somebody dictating, exactly how we have to run our business.
Absolutely.
Or even telling us how to do a little bit of it, basically. We want final say, and we want to say, we're doing this now with this money. So,
but also, you learn the hard way. It might take a little bit longer, but at least we know how to get there next time, right?
Yeah.
Because you've gone through the process. But also, Shark Tank for me, like I don't think that the people on the panel that are choosing to invest in businesses, there are so many more people out there. I'd rather not have a stock standard carbon investment, what am I calling a plan?
Yeah.
That is somebody, because it's really just for television.
Yeah.
And they are the people that will invest. And yes, they might have connections, but, another relationship might be better for us.
Yeah. And when we do, or if we do, decide it is the right time for investment, we'll just be very careful about who we select. We've seen VC just destroy too many businesses, buy them up, pump them up with whatever means necessary, and then they fail, liquidation. I think Barbecues Galore, happened just recently, right?
Yeah.
And that's a huge, huge brand. And that's thanks to VC again. So
yeah.
This may be a bit more of a personal question, but you guys don't have kids, do you?
No, we have
two snakes and two cats.
Yeah.
Are you going to, what happens with the AMPERNA brand long term, 20, 30 years? Are you going to keep doing it? Would you sell it?
No, definitely we sell it. We do have an exit plan, but when that is, who knows?
This be like, I put AMPERNA to my two snakes.
Yeah. No, so we did have a 5-year plan, right?
Oh, wow.
We always had a 5-year plan.
And you've definitely surpassed that.
And I've definitely surpassed that because it's like there's still much more to be done. I didn't want a viral brand. And yes, you have a business mentor, you do your 5-year plan, and the aim is I would like to go and do something for a developing country and invest in money and do something like that. But yeah, Wesley, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. It'd be nice to think that when we were at a stage that we were going to sell it, we had enough employees that we could, maybe sell it to one of the employees that we trusted a lot, or or maintain part of it to have a little bit of oversight. I'm not really sure, but yeah, there's definitely no family members to pass it on to. So
it's an interesting question.
Yeah, no children.
Because you're also the face of the brand. You drive all the inspiration. You are the creative ideas. As much as you've tried to create AMPERNA as its own standalone thing to sell, you've still got yourself in there.
Yeah, no, and it's funny, I stepped back and everyone's like, no, we need you again in content. Yeah, I feel like it would be invested in. I'd take a small salary and then I guess I'd have to be the face of the business moving forward or something. I don't know. What's Hailey Bieber doing?
You just need to get an AI clone. That will be a real thing by that stage. You won't even be able to tell the difference.
That's not very honest or transparent.
Every time I see an AI clone of someone, I do unfollow. I'm just like, nah. Initially, that whole AI coming into it, I think even podcasting, this is why I love it's a real conversation. If you forget something, if you stutter your words, it's okay. But this whole perfect curated AI, I do worry about where the world's headed.
We watched ad yesterday or something.
It was from personal finance and was it a health product?
It was a health product, and it was just it was on TV, and it was just clearly AI. His teeth were just one big block. I'm like,
one big block,
like 6 fingers.
Yeah, and I'm like, those teeth are just one line. What's going on?
People trust this?
With your products, are they in retail at the moment?
So we have small stockists, Wesley, you can talk to this more for the current updated list.
The current update, I can't name them all, but a small portion of our business is through like select salons and pharmacists.
So like clinics and
clinics,
things like
for use in spas.
And dermatologists talk about us, and we've got partners that are acupuncturists and holistic
How do you get it in
practitioners.
here?
I know.
Yeah.
I actually was thinking, because I had a headache, maybe your uncle could do some acupuncture on my neck for my headache. But yeah, definitely. But it's main bread and butter. We always want direct to consumer. So, there's always a want to go into retail, but I think sometimes going into retail too quickly can kill brands because there's an extra responsibility.
And the production runs are huge.
The production runs are huge. You can get financing for that. You also, when you're in retail, are beholden to a certain amount of sales. And if you don't hit that with advertising and that's extra, you have to pay for, you're relegated to bottom of shelf, and then you can die because of the margins that they expect.
And our experience is D2C. That's what we know. You know. So we have never actively gone out looking for our stockers at this point in time.
They've always come to us.
That's what I was really surprised about, because I came through your brand through a clinic and I realized not many clinics are stocking this, but I can understand why, because you've not been focusing on clinics.
But also we pride ourselves on the trust and the legitimacy of our brand. And we will only partner with partners that seem to support that message of helping people holistically and wanting to do the best by their clients. And also we need people to be able to talk to our brand. We don't want to be sitting, would like to eventually sit on Chemist Warehouse shelves, but at this stage there is so much to the piece of education that would be missing on shelf.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to go into 2 listener questions I had specifically for you guys.
Oh,
which
whoa.
They do tie in really well with what we've covered today.
Yeah.
The first one, which is really leading off what we've just spoken about, is from Shamara. She had a LCA clinic for 6 years, sold it. She started her own software company. And when I told her about you guys coming on, she had this question specifically to do with your thoughts around clinics.
Yes.
So from your perspective, now that you're starting to work with clinics and partners, what is your idea of a high-performing clinic, and what are you looking for in your ideal partner?
Wesley. So definitely someone that has the same values as us, that want to help their customers, that are willing to talk to them in a way that is both educative and supportive. I think definitely someone that knows what they're doing. So from a perspective of you have a fair idea of what your clinic customers or clients need, want. I don't think the best approach for a clinic would be to target everyone. You have to have a very specific focus, and that focus would be like we could support you in that focus, and also someone that is willing to learn.
Yes.
Right? So, yes, we're all experienced, but we learn new things every day. And I think the beauty industry is very fast-paced, and new technologies for ingredients and skin treatments appear every single day, realistically. And so I don't think we should be set in our ways, and I think we can both learn from one another. Wesley?
Yeah, and I guess last time we were out of Perth, it was for a day of training for a clinic. So we want them to want to learn about our products, right?
And also to feel supported in their ability to sell our products. So we don't we don't hand them over and they pay for them and then you never hear from us again. I think definitely that is our responsibility.
Yeah, and also be interested in the whole range too. We've had people approach us wanting to stock, just our 2 best sellers, and that's great, but we are more than just the 2 best sellers. We do have a whole range of cosmetics, body care, hair
actives
care, right?
as well. Yeah. So there are different requirements for different stockists, of course.
Do you also look at it from a perspective of someone who's got 5 brands? You're like, no, you got too many, because it's almost conflicting, right?
Yeah. It depends on. I think there's the ability for someone. The focus would be too split across too many brands, yes. And, you do want them to be able to sell your product. But I think also you want to be in a clinic where you sit on shelf and there's not a question as to why you're there.
Yes. I feel very overwhelmed as a consumer going in and seeing 10 different brands, 5 different brands. I'm like, do you not trust one product, or is it that each line only has one good one? And then why are you recommending me this brand and now this one's not working in that one? Like, I would probably trust you more if there were 2 hero ones. You've trialed and tested everything. These are the ones that you know and you live by.
Yeah. And I think also from our perspective, we'd prefer people to be able to sell the products than come to us upset with the range. We'd also prefer people to, if there is an issue, to work through the issue with them if they wanted to stock our brand. But we don't have sales targets to meet, which some of the brands do. They expect people to meet certain sales targets. We're more about supporting them and supporting the customer.
Yes, love it. I think that's very important in today's world as well, because if people don't feel supported, they'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
They're not as loyal anymore. It really takes that community and that customer service, not just the product or service anymore.
Yeah.
I think people, the consumers, everyone's gotten smarter and they want to feel valued, like they are part of the feedback process and you're taking action on that or giving them that support, not just leaving them in the dark.
Yeah.
The second listener question I had was, what has made you a success in the US? How did you get in wholesale, retail, meta ads? Did you have to fly over and physically attend expos and have that physical exposure in there? And were you already big before the expansion?
So during COVID, we wanted to go to an indie beauty expo and we'd signed up to have a stand. And because of COVID, they actually went out of business. So, Wesley, you can talk to this.
Well, so no, we haven't flown to the US since AMPERNA has started, so we haven't had to physically be there.
Wow.
Yeah, which we do want to get there, but just
Get
I
some
think
more points.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, I'm actually thinking about going to an eczema conference to speak in July. So that might be when I go. And then if we've signed up to 3PL by then, I'd visit the 3PL and sign off on their services. Yeah.
But it has really been through advertising.
And word of mouth.
And word of mouth, yeah.
It's funny when you see, like, there's a place in Canada and a place in the US where I feel like the whole suburb is using AMPERNA. Like they've all gotten together for a garden party and they're talking about AMPERNA and then they order and don't they live next door to one another? Like
it's a cult.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, definitely word of mouth and meta advertising.
And the other piece is SEO as well. So we have a blog post that we try to put up weekly. It's sort of fallen by the wayside a little bit at the moment.
Hello, I've been doing it.
Okay, Kiri's been all over it. It's been amazing.
Now can you do it for the rest of the year is the real question.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that also directs a lot of people to the website who are searching for, particular things, perioral dermatitis, you name it. And then that will also help to feed into the funnel to get more customers in the US that way as well.
Yeah. So yes, we haven't needed to go, but that said, I'm abreast of trends everywhere. So the beauty of the internet is that I know people on the ground in the US. I'm aware of what's happening in the beauty industry. I'm looking at white papers about what's happening in the industry. And also we went to the Beauty Expo in Japan.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of international brands and a lot of international visitors there. So we're always talking to people.
So you wouldn't bother with Beauty Expo in Australia?
So we did Beauty Expo in 2019.
Yeah.
And we did not find that it was good for us. I feel like in Australia, beauty expos are more to do with who's there and networking rather than getting direct ROI from it. That said, we did have a better experience with Naturally Good.
Yeah.
And we exhibited there
2 years in a row? 3 years, I forget.
And the last time we exhibited because of COVID, we didn't see an ROI. So if we don't see an ROI, we don't sign up again. But we do the business leader conference attached to that because there are a lot of great insights. And when you're as established as our brand, we're often invited to them and get free tickets. So, yeah a lot of these I would not pay over $1,000 to attend a business conference because most of the time they are wanting to sell you something.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't see the ROI in these smaller businesses and brands at somewhere like Expo. I think it's the quickest way to burn up all your cash.
Yeah.
You spend 10 to 15K for a stall and all of a sudden they've placed you against all your competitors. Like the amount of machines that were all there, and then you've got everyone selling lashes, everyone selling skin. It's actually overwhelming to walk in there. Like I don't go in there and feel like, oh, this is a nice experience. I'm like, okay, I'll have a quick look. Yep, I want to get out. Hey, where are you? Do you want to go get ladder? You know, it's not I'm happy to be here.
I think for a small business, we learned very quickly that there was no need to do an expo. Better ways of doing things. And I will also talk to the curated boxes of stuff that there was a trend for those maybe 5 years ago, and they've sort of petered out because they were expecting businesses to put product in those for free.
Yeah.
And that's not a business model.
This is like me getting a bit more into when I was doing Miss Universe.
Yes.
They have sponsor packages. And so, you know, you pay 15 to 50 grand to be a sponsor. Do most of these people get an ROI? No.
Yeah.
And also you're expected to pay to be a sponsor, give away free product. What are your thoughts now that you are an established brand, you do have cash flow?
That's not what I want to do.
No sponsorship, no for events. Like
we'd much rather partner with the acne nutritionist, Cicely, who has a program, an acne protocol program to help people with their skin, and she can talk to our products because she uses them. I would much rather put my money into that rather than in something that's not aligned with AMPERNA.
Well, we sponsor the Eczema Association of Australia. And we've just given them, I think, like 150 units of our body wash to hand out in gift bags at a conference that they're doing.
Because we know that they're going to the right people.
The right people.
So
the
even
people
if they don't come back and buy things, that product is helping people.
Yeah, not just somebody who's just going to throw it in their closet after, looking at it going, oh, look at this freebie that I got, and throw it away, basically.
But if you're a small business, it's better to be targeted about what you do. So, for instance, there are other options that you can do, like micro-influencers that live near your skin clinic, or giving out a free treatment to in a gift bag with a brand that's aligned with yours, or, you know, doing a talk in your clinic with the brands that you stock, or doing a pop-up when we launch the SPF 50, for instance, with a free, I don't know, like hat, and just give them out on the beach. That would probably work better than paying for an expo booth.
I think it's really valuable advice to hear it first and foremost from you guys, because when you see everyone else doing it, I think other people get FOMO and then they think that's what I have to do to look successful. But is it actually giving that business an ROI? And I look at 15 grand for maybe 1 or 2 days and you're capturing that person maybe once against everything and they forget about you versus if you targeted them on Facebook ads for the next 3 months. What would be the difference in conversion as well?
Yeah, and also it costs nothing for myself. Well, it costs time, but obviously it costs less money for myself as the founder to go out with my social media hand to film the experience, and I just have a box of product.
Definitely. What made you guys decide that it was worth your time to come here today?
Ooh. That's a good question, that one.
I don't know. I just, we vibed. Worth our time.
This is the first podcast I've ever been on, so
really
thank you very much for popping my podcast
definitely
cherry.
It's worth the time to float his ego, right?
No, you're great though. I love having both of you on, and it's not like you're overpowering the whole conversation, cutting out. Like, I wanted to get both your perspectives because...
Well, worth my time to help other businesses. So this is a very big thing that I have. I don't know whether Wesley feels the same way, but we've found that scaling internationally is easier than scaling in Australia. Apparently, we have this aversion to helping other businesses in Australia, whereas I've found it easier to talk to people that are founders of brands overseas. For instance, I just did an Instagram live with a woman who is an AMPERNA customer who has her own cosmetics brand. And I just find that a lot of people are a lot more supportive overseas. I think that business advice shouldn't be gatekept. And I found that it was very hard in the early stages of the business. You didn't know what questions to ask. So if you didn't ask the right questions, no one was supplying information. Or I contacted someone and I wanted to know, and we're still in the process of discussing this, getting ocean plastic, not ocean-bound plastic, ocean plastic from the pile of plastic into our bottles. At the moment, we have recycled RRPT, but the technology hasn't been there, plus the legalities around doing that from a manufacturing and protecting the ingredients has been too difficult until now. And I think that I contacted quite a few people that I knew from my FMCG design days. And, I can't help you with that unless you sign up to this, which will cost you X per month. And I'm like, how about you just give me a contact because we're doing the right thing from the environment? Do you know? But it's much easier overseas, I feel, to try and ask people. So, we met a potential distributor and we needed help with compliance, and it was a Japanese partner, and he just gave us contact details. Like, it's not that hard. So, Wesley, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Australia's got the reputation for cutting down tall poppies, right? Like, I don't know, they see somebody doing well and they feel they need to criticise it.
Or report them to a government body. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. It kind of feels like everybody is out to make a buck, and unless you're paying them for their advice, then you're not going to get it.
So I think it's more than worth the time to come and help you help other people.
Thank you. I think that was the biggest part for me as well, doing this podcast, was that when I was running business, you do have people who are genuine. And I've met people like you. The podcast guests I've had, I've made genuine friendships with and make time to go see or catch up for dinner or holidays. And before this, you try to reach out to someone and they've got their cards close to their chest, but they don't even have a good business, It's like they're protecting this whole facade that they're successful, and then you actually peel back the layers and you're like, oh, you just don't want to get found out.
Okay.
Sometimes there's that side of it as well. Like the people that you think are so successful, they're hiding so much because they're scared they're going to get found out, and they're putting on this whole thing and what does success look like. But yeah, helping people, it doesn't cost you anything. And, when you were saying about being able to help Mel and Emily, when we almost went bankrupt, one of our neighbours, he lent us, he said $50,000 if you need it. We were about to go bankrupt. The next day we had $30,000 worth of expenses. And he said, I'm going to South Africa. I'll be back on this date. And the date he was coming back was the night before these expenses were due. And we had loans that we were paying off that were also just funding the other loans. It was so bad. And he put $160,000 into our bank account and kept us going. And he sat down and supported us and given us information, because he's like, it's no skin off my back. Like, if you win, that doesn't mean that I lose. And people need to get over that, It doesn't mean just because one person is successful and you give away a strategy, a framework, a resource, a contact that's helped you, doesn't mean that you're going to lose anything.
No.
And people respect you more.
Friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How did you feel when you were given all that money? Was it like gratitude and then pressure?
It was definitely a moment where you don't believe it's real and you're scared it's going to be taken away from you.
Yeah.
He didn't ask for any security. He knew the situation we were in. And you know what he said to my dad? He said, you don't have to pay me back, but if in the future you can pay it forward to someone else, maybe that will be the time where you can do that. And for me, it's been the same with business coaching as well. Like, obviously you need to get paid for your time, but there's been some situations where, some people are a victim and they're going to take you for a ride, versus those that are willing to do whatever they need to make it happen, but they've been dealt a shit set of cards and they're trying to play them to the best of their advantage, but they're just not sure what to do. And those are the people like Mel and Emily where I'm like, you know what? Sometimes if you are really truly in this business to help other people, don't hold back.
Yeah.
It'll come back to you tenfold later on.
Totally. I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up, this is the last question I want to ask you about the future of AMPERNA, which I know I've kind of said, like, what would you do?
Yeah.
But if you fast forward just 5 years, what does the next evolution of AMPERNA look like?
Well, we'd be scaled into the US, UK and Japan, and I'd be living in Japan in an Akia and, you know, have a holiday home and, you know, I'd have enough staff to run the business. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Sign me up.
No, and I'd still have to be recording content in Japan for everyone.
No, yeah, ideally it would be having AMPERNA as proper entities within the US and the UK and having, you know, the GMs or the CEOs or whatever it is in each of those countries running them and us just overseeing everything and not having to be bogged down in day-to-day stuff. And
Which would you be able to, you've already said it's hard to give up your coding. Are you able to do that?
If the business is working, then absolutely.
I want to write a book and I already have Wesley's sister as my ghostwriter because I'm not a writer, but I want to tell my story.
You should definitely do it. There's so much to unpack there. Would you do it from like start to finish of your timeline, or would you kind of start it at the passing of your dad and starting the business?
I think passing of my dad and unpacking that, you know, that's the reason why AMPERNA exists, really.
Do you know what you'd call your book?
No idea.
You need a ghostwriter for that. ChatGPT, give me a title.
Do you know how long it took to come up with AMPERNA? Quite a while, probably about 3 months because, you know, like I'd done it for other brands, but as soon as you try to do it for yourself, like you've got to meet your brand strategy mentor and it took a while. But anyway.
And personally, what kind of founders do you want to be in the next chapter?
Well, supportive, definitely, of my staff and partners.
Yeah, I guess the same. I don't know. Like,
well, we have the same values for our business culture, really. Like we didn't want to work in large businesses, medium to large businesses anymore in corporate because of the way you're treated in corporate. We do believe in rewarding our staff. Yeah.
Yeah, Kiri mentioned before, you know, like she'd like to work in a developing country, that sort of thing. Like I would, if I could, you know, sell AMPERNA tomorrow and get $50 million that I could do whatever I wanted with, I would go over to any of those countries that has waste problems and, you know, fund local groups to basically, you know, collect, clean up, all that sort of stuff. One of the guys who I look up to is a guy called Boyan Slat who founded the Ocean Cleanup. And he was 16 or something, I think, when he came up with the idea to clean up the Great Garbage Ocean Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage, whatever that's called. Yeah, and now he's turned it into like this, you know, massive thing where he's just cleaning up rivers and systems around the world, and that's awesome to me.
It's a really cool concept to go from struggling to survive week to week to having a business that makes enough not only revenue but profit, and then thinking about, now that I'm at that stage where I'm not in survival mode, how do I help other people, or how do I help make the world a better place? Because I don't know if you've ever heard of spiral dynamics in NLP, but they talk about Orange being like the entrepreneur. They've got everything they want to do for themselves and they're going to rig the system because it brought them before and all of that. And they make this thing and then they're empty and they're chasing that connection and
they're chasing the next thing.
Yeah. And then you realize it's not all it's set out to be. And then you're like, what do I do with what I've built to help other people? Because doing it all for me, like, what's the point towards the end?
Yeah. And I mean, you've already got a business that is helping other people. So where do you go from here? That is the question. And it is to use your money to do more. Not that
you're just like helping doing the ocean cleanup, and then you're like, hey, would you like some body?
Make sure you sanitize your hands, everyone.
Get your SPF 50 on.
SPF 50. Actually, no, I can say, because it tested SPF 84 three times. So we can say overseas, if we go to a developing country, have you got your SPF 84 on?
Oh my gosh. When I was in Vietnam, you could buy sunscreen that was like SPF 100, and I'm like, no, it is not.
Yeah.
And then it's got whitening agent in it. So you're putting on this sunscreen. You're like, I'm meant to be getting more tan and I'm getting whiter. It's just so different.
Yeah, right.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time not only to come into the podcast studio, but also fly across from Sydney. It's such an honour and privilege to have you guys as the first guests ever in here.
First guest, yep.
You know, I've almost hit 100 episodes, and to finally have the studio here, to have some really integrity-led, innovative guests on. It's an honor. So thank you so much. If someone has listened to this and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I need your product, I want to follow along on your journey or send you a message, where is the best place to do that?
Well, the website's AMPERNA.com. And my Instagram is my full name, so that's pretty easy, Kiri Yanchenko. And then the Instagram and TikTok is AMPERNA Skin for AMPERNA. Yeah, you can send us an email at info@amperna.com. I'm always helping people via DM, and I do actually slide into customer emails as well when somebody's like, hi, Kiri, blah, 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 blah. So sometimes those emails are directed to me. So, yeah, if you've got a question, definitely I can make the time to reply.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll catch you on another episode one day, like maybe 3 years from now, and we can do a little update on the 3PL situation.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week, and I will catch you in the next episode.
Audience exclusive.